Thank you, gentlemen, for being here this afternoon. I'm also a member of the Judiciary Committee, chairing the antitrust. So my first question kind of goes to, it's a bigger question, but I believe, my opinion, the Biden-Harris administration took kind of a negative posture towards mergers and acquisitions across the board, resulting in applications being they were either delayed or there was very little transparency. And U.S. bank mergers faced kind of a unique multi-agency review requirement involving both antitrust and prudential regulators. And in my opinion, again, caused delays and uncertainty. It was varying from whatever sector you were referring to. Healthy mergers can increase, obviously, competition and make the banking system more dynamic, allowing banking organizations to realize the economies of scale and scope via mergers or acquisitions, creates competition and generates cost savings that can be passed on. I understand that there's issues with the size of some of these institutions, but I just felt there was kind of a negative approach to this. So, Mr. Barisi, it's kind of self-serving, but I have a bill, the Bank Competition Modernization Act, which is noticed to this hearing, including the provision directing regulators to find that mergers resulting in a bank with less than $10 billion in assets do not create a monopoly or substantially lessen competition. So, given your experience, I know you've kind of addressed some of this stuff directly and on the fringe here this afternoon, but can I just ask you, what is your opinion on this? And given your experience advising banks, specifically finance firms and fintechs, how do you advise them to approach this moving forward?
I think your proposal would be very helpful. And if I can, I'm going to try to tie together a few things we've talked about. It's incredibly difficult for small banks to compete in the United States of America. If you look at ratios of returns on assets, returns on equity, multiples in the market, stock price, in other words, there's a direct correlation between size or scale on the one hand and positivity on the other, good returns. Small banks face a huge uphill battle, and allowing them to combine in a way that is efficient and fast and does not cause them operational difficulty while they are waiting for extensive periods of time to obtain approval is very helpful. Banks are subject to tons of competition from credit unions and financial technology companies. You're hard-pressed to say that you can't find access to financial services in the United States, except in some rural areas where it can be hard to get physical presence. So I think what you suggest is a good idea, and I think it would help not only with the approval process, but with a host of things that we've discussed as to why it's tough to be a small bank.
So, Mr. Carney, let me just ask you quickly. The Competition Modernization Act is designed to ensure regulators fully account for all types of competitors, including credit unions, the farm credit institutions, and non-bank financial companies. How would you include these additional entities in a competitive factor when you're trying to analyze this, giving the regulators a more complete picture of the full market?
The merger rules are over 30 years old now. Goes back to 1995. Banking and financial services has fundamentally changed. And so taking into account competition wherever and however that competition occurs is important. Focusing in on local bank branches is no longer appropriate.
Very good. I'll just finish, Mr. James. Can you talk a little bit about when you're involved in a merger and you find yourself having to continue to market your services and you're caught in maybe a 90-day holding pattern?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I think, quicker resolution of merger and acquisition activity would always be helpful so that you can, stop focusing on, compliance and regulation and more focused on and get more focused on customers. We've seen instances where, customers, get concerned about debit card number changing and, core conversions. And those are real operational issues that we would rather focus on rather than, complying with regulation or responding to, inquiries from supervisors.
Very good. Thank you so much.